What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys so much for returning each and every week to the show. I hope you're subscribing there on iTunes or Google Play, or you're listening to us on Spotify or maybe YouTube. If you're checking me out on any of those methods, I really do appreciate it. This week on the show, we have our guest. His name is Garret Bland. I met this man with the help of Kyle Stevenson, who was a previous guest on the show. He sent me a list of a ton of potential, guests, including a bunch of kind of funny best friends. Said reach out to him, so I did, and Garret was nice enough to come on the show and share his stories. If you want to be on the show just like Garret was, go ahead and send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. Without further ado, let's get things started with Garret Bland. Do you remember what initially got you started playing games? Was it a family member? Was it a friend? Was it some magazine you saw at a grocery store or something? What got you started?
So what got me into gaming, man? I think, when I went to my grandma's place, my dad's mom's place, when I was 5 years old, or when I even just first thought about what games are, she had an SNES, and I played a lot of games from that system. I basically went to her house, and of course it's there to visit family. But for me, it's I get to play the SNES. So I went straight there. I played the three games. It's Super Mario World, it's Donkey Kong Country, or even 1, 2, and 3. Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3, and Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. So those were the three games that I really buried myself kind of first. Yeah. That's
a good three. Those were
the seminal start of what I would like to play, or what games are, basically.
What I think is funny is literally you named three of some of the best games ever made. So the only problem is
pretty much.
You started at such a high bar that it's
I'm sorry, it's gonna go down a little bit, because that was probably that was a really high point, and then I can explain a little bit later, but basically I didn't have those seminal games that I had an N64, but I did not have Mario 64. I did not have Ocarina of Time. I did not have Majora's Mask.
Good Lord.
I was deprived as a child.
You got the system, and then they were all the best games on the system. Nope, you're stuck playing.
Right. I mean,
something else. Good Lord.
I think my parents thought he might like this game, not this game. They didn't really search up what's the best game ever. It was more here's your Pokemon. That's another franchise I was huge on. Here's the Pokemon Stadium 2 and the Puzzle League, Pokemon Puzzle League. Ever heard of that game?
Yeah, I have.
That one I was crazy over. I don't know why. I was really on top of that. And then I played Star Fox 64 and Donkey Kong 64.
But man, you missed out on Mario 64.
When I saw
it's not I'm not going to say that people back then weren't. Because I'm sure if you went to a Toys R Us or a place somewhere, they would actually be here's some good games. But also to the internet, it's not like the internet was just so relevant that your mom could just Google good N64 games and find a good list of games and stuff. So
yeah.
So what made your grandma have an SNES just at the house?
I think she was into those games too.
Okay,
definitely. Yeah, she was a gamer. I think she plays a lot of games. She doesn't consider us, in gaming culture, but she plays right now she plays tablet games or phone games. But when it was back then, she had an NES, and then she had an SNES, and she played and beat all those major Nintendo titles, which I was. Awesome. Yeah, I was dang.
Grandma's awesome. I remember. It's funny too, because I remember as soon as you mentioned we're gonna go visit family, the thing that popped in your head was I get to play an SNES. That's cool. I had the same thing where my mom, I would go to Texas every year. Once a month, I would go there to visit my mom's family. And I remember my mom was just we're going to go visit my high school friend. And I'm just I don't know who these people are. Like, I don't know what we're going to do there. And they're like, she's like, all right, we'll just go in the room and play it. I'm like, oh, man, this sucks. I don't know any of these people. This is going to be awkward. And then I walk into a room and there's a 64 and I was like, I'll shut up. This is where an N64 is.
Yeah.
And then like the following year, she's like, we're going to go visit them again. I'm like, cool, let's go. Like, I didn't care. I was just like, he's got the 64, man. Cause I didn't have a 64 of my own at the time.
Right.
So like the experience of different games, that was where I first saw Mario 64 and I just like had a mini heart attack. I was like, what am I staring at? This is insane. So, but yeah, that's always fun. And so obviously I would say your grandma was cool with you playing games cause
yes,
she kind of played games.
Yeah, she was kind of annoyed a little bit when I was like, I wanted the controller like all the time. But yeah, we played a lot together. Especially, I remember memories of just Donkey Kong Country 2 a lot. That we would just pass each other the controller with each level. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you ever played that game. I think that's still one of my favorite games of all time.
I personally didn't get a chance to, only because like. Again, like I felt like I'm not gonna say I chose wrong, but like I had a Genesis growing up, which
okay.
Yeah. I had there were some fun games on the Genesis. I don't want to shit on it because there were some good games, but like overall, if you think like best games of the generation, you definitely look at, and Super Nintendo. I mean, dude, did anybody give a shit when the Sega Genesis collection came out? No.
No.
When an SNES Classic comes out, people lose their shit and freak out.
I freaked, and I ordered myself an SNES Classic. The Genesis, like, when I was young, I didn't have a habit of finding other systems, so I didn't even know the Genesis like existed. Like, I only knew about the Sega Dreamcast just a very little bit from another friend just playing. I think it was like NBA Playgrounds or some sort of basketball game, but I was like, wait, there's another line of consoles? I didn't even know this existed.
Well, you don't need to worry about Saturn because that thing nobody remembers. But then, like Genesis, because I remember, I think I just stuck with like whatever was popular in my neighborhood, because I remember one of my buddies my uncle initially had a Genesis first. That's why I was into it. But then I just noticed that everybody else in the neighborhood had a Genesis, and there was just the one guy that had a Super Nintendo. But for whatever reason, he was like a hillbilly and got a bunch of bullshit games nobody wanted to play. So we'd go over there and I was like, here's Mario World. That's cool. And then he's like, here's this fishing game I have. I'm like, the fuck are we playing right now? Like, I don't want to play a fishing game. So like every time if we stayed the night at his house, I was like, somebody bring their Genesis over. This is bullshit. Like nobody wants to play this fishing game like nobody wants to do that.
I had some random games too, man. What did I have on SNES? It was like this helicopter game where
sure there was some like Jungle Strike or something.
Yeah. I just shoot down to these other people that are like the terrorists, quote unquote, and it was really fun. Like, shoot all of them down. And I'm like, all right, now save the hostages, and I would have to land and get all the hostages, and at the same time I could shoot horizontally. And I'm just like, man, this is terrible. Why am I playing this when I'm 6 or 5?
Yeah, my favorite part is you were like, terrorist, quote unquote, because I mean, like, that's such a PC, like, you have to be so, like, because back then obviously they didn't give a shit. They were just like, we're gonna put we'll just make these people a certain color and no one's gonna give us a problem, right?
And it's gonna be semi-arid region,
right? Like, geez, people. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, I'm looking up at SNES helicopter games, Desert Strike and Jungle Strike, of course. And
Desert Strike.
My favorite thing is Jungle Strike on the cover says Jungle Strike, the sequel to Desert Strike. Like, no shit.
Oh, I played this game.
There you go.
No shit. No, I played this exact game, Desert Strike.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, man.
That's hysterical. Like, of course, I just like how they had to clarify that this game has the name Strike in it and has a helicopter on the cover. It's the sequel to this one. Like, do we really need you to say that shit? Like, we get the idea. If you saw those two I guess because it wasn't Desert Strike 2, like they had to like.
It was like, all right, guys, it's a sequel. So.
It's a sequel. We gotta make sure. But also too, back then, like the cover meant so much. Like, and like ads. Like, I'm sure there was some sort of like ad for that game in like an EGM or something, and it was like full page, and there was this big ass helicopter shooting shit, and they're just like, make sure you tell them it's a sequel to this. Like, if anybody didn't catch on to that, they probably shouldn't be playing it. So, like, were your parents cool with games, or were they kind of like, this is just something we have to keep them quiet? Like, how were they around games?
They were more or less okay with everything. My mom, a very lovely woman. She loves to spoil me to death. I was the only child, and of course, I was like her one and only most important thing on earth. And so she was like, whatever games you want, she'll probably, if I asked, I would get. Now, my dad, on the other hand, he's more of a fair person. He would say no to me or something like that. Sometimes I was just scared of my dad. So, like, whenever I wanted a game, I can't, like, beg for it, or else my dad would be like, no. So I had to be very careful with that. But more or less,
that fine line between, like, hiding your emotions from wanting it so bad and just playing it cool. Like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty much. But more or less okay with games. And my dad actually played some games with me when I was young as well. I think one of my first memories, maybe I was like 7 or 8 years old, I played Red Alert. I played Red Alert 2 with my dad and with my uncle, my dad's brother. And we would just face off PCs and have a great time with those games. So yeah, Red Alert was probably the start of me liking the real-time strategy. I love real-time strategy games. Till this day, I'm obsessed with Red Alert, and also there was another game that came out. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Rising Nations.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was Microsoft Studio led, or it was Epic, huge game, or something like that. And it came out like 2003 or 2002. And I played that so much. It was basically a real-time strategy, but it's like Civilization, but real-time. Right. It's from ancient times to like the modern times. And that's a game I sunk in too much time with my dad and my uncle, and as well as my friends as well. I got my friends on it, and we would spend summers. We would spend summers doing one or two things. We would go out in the swimming pool, because I had a swimming pool, and then the other one was play this game, play a huge epic game of Rise of Nations that would take maybe 5 hours.
That's so insane,
or something like that.
That's such a big game.
Yeah, and it was. Yeah, that's one of my seminal moments, I think, is Rise of Nations and Red Alert.
What's funny is you mentioned, like, Command and Conquer, Red Alert, and like today they announced that like 4 of the Command and Conquer games like went to backward compatibility for Xbox today. So like that got announced.
Command
and Conquer 3, Kane's Wrath, Red Alert 3, the expansion for that all became backward compatible today. So how coincidental. I remember with. Because I personally never got as much into the computer stuff just because we grew up not really well off and stuff. So I mean, we didn't have a computer till later. But like, also too, consoles got at that time, especially with how little buttons there was like very little way to do like a real time strategy on a console. Like I'm sure someone tried, but I also doubt that it was successful just because like. They still aren't that successful. They don't come out on consoles often. They still do, just not as much. But, I remember, I'm trying to remember the first one I played. Because I remember, like, I played Warcraft, like, not World of Warcraft, but, like, old school, like, Warcraft 1.
Warcraft, yeah.
I remember playing that, and I was just like, wow, this is just such a different type of game than, like, I've ever played in, like, on any console. And I remember that was really, like, one of the only games. Of course, my buddy had Doom, and Doom's fun, but like, after a while Doom becomes Doom, but like after playing Warcraft, I remember just like, wow, this is weird. You build bases and you build these armies and then you go fight. I was just like, wow, this is cool as hell. And yeah, I never got into it as much just because I didn't know too many people that were playing it that often, but also too, I can imagine if you had multiple computers doing just next level matches, like I'm sure that would be a big thing.
And it wasn't really that demanding from what I experienced. I remember having one of my parents' laptop, and then there were two computers in the room, and we were able to play the games just fine. So it wasn't that demanding. So yeah, going back to the Command and Conquer on consoles, I remember trying to play Command and Conquer on like the Xbox original or Xbox 360. And my God, the controls were so bad.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Is the controls. The controls are abysmal with Command and Conquer on console. Now Halo Wars and the newer stuff, I would rather play that on a controller. To be honest with you, they did an amazing job.
Yeah, I was actually quite happy with Halo Wars because like playing it, I don't know how these people figured it out and nobody else did, but like they literally were like, we figured it out and here's how you do it, and it worked well, and I was just like. I got Halo Wars 2. I beat all this. I mean, I was like, wow, this game is really, really fun. And I think now, especially with, I know Xbox right now is pushing keyboard and mouse. Like, they're actually coming out with a keyboard and mouse that is Xbox branded. Like, I wouldn't be surprised to see now more RTSs open up if, like, not saying like, because I don't think there will be a game that'll come out on Xbox that requires keyboard and mouse. I don't think they would go that route. Because that would just limit a lot of people. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like, eventually it got to a point where they're like, here's some bullshit controller controls, just so you can play it if you want to. But if you plug in a keyboard and mouse, this game is, like, infinitely better. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that. But, yeah, I mean, like, dude, imagine an SNES controller trying to do an RTS. Like,
it can happen. It can never happen.
There's 6 buttons. There's one D-pad. There's not even analog sticks. I'm like... Yeah, you can't do that shit. So,
yeah, pretty much. So yeah, RTS is a big thing for me. Sorry, if you want to ask any other questions, I'm trying to think.
No, you're fine. So as far as it goes, like you had mentioned, you never really played Genesis. You didn't even know the damn thing existed. Like,
to be honest with you, no. I knew Sonic. Like I knew the Blue Hedgehog.
Right.
I didn't know it was. It's on a separate console that you never had in your life.
Right.
The first memory of Sonic is Sonic Heroes on the GameCube. That's the first time I played a Sonic game.
Jesus.
And I was like, yeah, so I was super late in the game.
Yeah. I mean, because there was like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3 Knuckles. Like, there was, like, that was my thing is, like, obviously, because I didn't have a Super Nintendo, so I, like, played the shit out of Sonic, because, like, of course, Sonic was attitudey, and it was fast, and man, whatever. Like, he was every 90s stereotype rolled in one. Like, he was basically just, like, full of attitude, and he's like, yeah, man, and he just runs fast, whatever. It's dumb. But, like, I don't regret playing the Sonic games, because they were fun, but also, too, like, it's funny, because I just love how Sonic tries, like, Sonic Adventure wasn't terrible, but, like, obviously you started doing Sonic, Heroes, which was not bad either. But then you had games like Shadow the Hedgehog, which was like, why does Sonic have a gun? This is fucking stupid. And then they just had all these games come out that just failed. And then they're like, by the way, here's Retro Sonic. And everybody's just like,
no, everyone's freaking
everybody's
out.
losing their shit. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. And it just takes Sega to fail a lot to get to that point where they're realizing, like, and like most of the people I thought that made Sonic Mania were like people just remaking the older levels or something. I thought they were like hacking the game to make their own Sonic levels, and they just kind of was like, here, make it real, please. Just like, go ahead and here's your license. Go ahead and make the game. So, I just think it's funny because like Sonic Heroes being your first one, not saying it's bad, but it's just like, man, you missed out.
It's weird. Yeah.
On those.
And when I saw Sonic Mania, I'm like, yeah, that looks like classic Sonic, 2D Sonic. I've never played those games. I never felt a nostalgia to it. And to be honest, I probably don't want to play those games. And that's why. Yeah. Right? I never grew up with them. I never played them as a kid.
I mean, like I said, overall, Mario World will go down as like one of the greatest games ever made. Nobody says nobody says Sonic ... will go down in history as one of the greatest games ever made. Like, nobody says that. And it's unfortunate because, again, at the time, though, it was fun. It was cool. But, like, Mario World, I would still, like, play today. And it's still so fun. And it's just like, the Sonic games are fun, but also they just don't have whatever it is. They just don't have something that, like, Nintendo seem to have. And like I said, it sucks because I missed on so many games. Like, I played Mario World, but I missed out on, like any, like, Super Metroid, any of the Castlevanias, any of the RPGs. Like, I literally did not even play RPGs until I got my PlayStation, because like on Genesis, there were some, but they weren't like high profile. They weren't your Final Fantasies, Chrono Triggers, Mario RPGs, like none of those. So it's just so crazy that I missed out. Like you said, you missed out on Genesis, except for you did it in a way right, because you had Super and you played the better games, and you missed out on the shitty stuff. Because there was a lot of trash on Genesis. There was some good, but like not enough to make it. Again, you look at two things on the shelf and you're like, SNES Classic, Genesis Classic. This is a hard one. Yeah, right. I'm not kidding when I say literally SNES Classic is literally one of the greatest collections of games I've ever seen ever. Like, Nintendo did the best job in the world on that thing. I was like, as soon as I started seeing all of them, I was like, shit, like, $80. Every amazing game on this console is yours.
Right. And it was so cool to see that collection. Like, the NES didn't really speak, the Classic didn't speak to me, because I was like, I've never played these games. I can probably buy some of like the Marios, and I could get them on Nintendo Switch Online or something like that.
Right.
And that'll be just okay. But the SNES Classic, when I saw them, I'm like, I need to get this tiny console, because this is huge nostalgia factor for me. Like, playing that controller, getting that kind of like that startup on that console. It's so good. It's a very good classic of games. Now, when I saw the PS1 Classic, announce it coming out, that
was sad. That was
very sad.
I literally looked at the games and I was like, we're missing a lot of shit here. Like, what happened here? Because again, like Sony, here's the craziest thing, and this is like the argument I had. Sony has all these, because like Super Nintendo's third-party relationships were good, right? They had...
At the time, yes.
Yeah, at the time. They had Square, so right there.
Yeah.
You had Mario RPG, all these games from Square, right? And then when the 64 happened is when they lost like a ton of third-party support, and then PlayStation got it. So when I was thinking like PlayStation Classic, I was like, you guys could knock this shit so far out of the park, because you still have that relationship with those people.
Oh, yeah.
You have so many people behind you, and they still love you, and like all these Japanese developers still develop only for PlayStation, like today. And I'm like, you guys have the world of games that you could easily get. There's no like, oh, we can't get this third-party game. Like, you're fucking PlayStation. You can do what you want. And then like, they put it out, and I was like, yo, like SNES Classic literally has games that are in the top 10 games ever made. And like, you have Final Fantasy 7 and Metal Gear.
And that's pretty much.
That's about it. There's not like, dude, nobody in the world says, you know what the best game for PlayStation was? Rainbow Six.
Like, when they said that, I'm like, oh, that was a game, right? On the PS1.
Right. Like, no one says, dude, Rainbow Six on PlayStation, that's what brings back memories. Like, no one...
Castlevania, right? Symphony of the Night, that's on there too.
Yeah, okay. So I'm sorry. I'll give you three. I'll give you three solid...
Even though you can get that on PS4 too now.
Yeah, well, you can get it pretty much. Well, that's the other thing too. Final Fantasy 7 is literally backward compatible on everything. Metal Gear Solid is...
you can get that... No, wait. Can you get that on 360? I forgot.
360... I can't remember. I don't think you can.
I don't think so. PSP, though. You can get a PS10 title, I think.
Yeah, there you go. And I mean, like, again, they also didn't include the DualShock, and I was just like, man, you guys are just... I don't fucking get it, man. But like, again, though, the funny thing is you can tell PlayStation is like seriously screwed on it, because like after Christmas, $60 instead of $100. I was like, you guys realize like nobody's giving a shit about this thing because of the games, and because of also you price it at $100. SNES Classic is $80 and has far better games ever.
Right.
Like,
man, they discounted PS1 Classic so down. By the way, sorry, Symphony of the Night is not in that
collection?
Repertoire in that collection. That was my bad.
Oh, okay.
I just did a quick Google search.
Whatever. So only two good games that are worth a shit. All right, cool.
Pretty much.
But no, I mean, like, it's just weird and everything, like how they dropped that ball. But what's weird is I've personally also said that I personally don't think an N64 Classic could happen, only because the better third-party games are never going to get put on that console, because they're a licensed nightmare now.
Yeah.
All your rare
GoldenEye.
games.
Yeah, all the rare games, basically. Yeah, like, that's half. I think that's half of your collection.
Correct. Like, your rare games are gone. your THQ.
Maybe Donkey Kong 64.
If, again, Rare developed it. So that's where it's like, how do we do that? Like,
I don't know.
So again, like, those are the weird things that I would, and like, all like, Turok's, all the wrestling games are all licensed nightmares. Like, it just seems like the only games you would have on it would be your first party Nintendo games, which again, do you have enough to make a whole console? I'm assuming they could just, I bet, I say they won't do it, but Nintendo also could do it and literally just fill it with all first party Nintendo shit and like 3 or 4 bad third party games and just be like, who gives a shit? You guys are getting Mario 64 and Mario Kart and Mario Party, and like, you know, they could just say it like that. You're getting Smash, you're getting, I mean, like, I'm sorry, there's 5 turds on this thing, but you get 10 good games. Like, they could do it like that, but just after the SNES Classic, I'm like, that's like the top of like the best console, classic console games you're gonna get. So we'll see what happens. So, or I wish also Nintendo would just put those on like a cart for the Switch, please.
It's just an online store. Yeah. That'd be great.
Or literally, I don't care. Make me pay $60 for a cart that just has those games on it.
I'm fine with that.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do that. But
do a compilation of N64 games. Boop. There you go.
Nintendo doesn't like money. I don't know what to say. Nintendo, like, they like money, but then they do stupid things like limit stock and have dumb amiibo and have 5 copies of the amiibo. That I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I give up on it.
I give up on Nintendo. Nintendo, you made great stuff, but what the fuck? All right. But no, so as you grew up, so you went 64, you had mentioned that. Like, but you didn't have Super Mario and you didn't have Zelda. So
I know.
How bad are your parents what did they get? I'm just playing. What did they get you that, like, when you got your 64, did you get it and go, these are what games made you freak out about your 64 then?
So probably, the biggest games on N64 was definitely Super Smash Brothers.
Sure.
That was probably my top N64 game.
Right.
And I'm still playing a lot till this day.
It's still pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, definitely Pokemon Puzzle League. I know that's an odd game, but I was super into it. And I got to the point where the last level is Gary. He's the Pokemon champion. You're supposed to fight him. I was on very hard, and I think I never beat him, but I was at that top stage. I was like, oh man, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do this.
Right.
Puzzle League, it can be insane. There's speed runs, and it's just like, God, how do these people like set everything up to make it like perfect?
That's how I felt watching my grandma play Dr. Mario, because I was like a dumb kid, and I didn't realize like setting things up when this falls here, and this falls.
Everything falls.
Like my grandma would set up these elaborate things and then hit one item, and then it was just like do and just clear. I'm like, you're so good at that. And I'm just like, I'm a dumb kid. I'm just stacking shit wrong. Like, I'm like, no, you're smart. You're an adult. You know how to do this game right.
Pretty much. And so there's that. Then, Donkey Kong 64 was a big one from Rare. I did not beat that game, and I didn't enjoy it as much as Donkey Kong Countries, the 1 and 2.
I would say that's probably a general consensus. It's like 64 wasn't, I personally, I never requested an N64. Because I had a PlayStation and I was cool with that. My sister, for whatever reason, one year for Christmas was like, I want a 64. And I was just like, you don't really play games, but okay. Like, cool. We'll have it both in the house. Who gives a shit? And, she actually ended up getting the green 64 that had Donkey Kong.
Okay.
So I 100%ed that game. Like, I found every goddamn banana. And again, like, I look back and I'm like, this game actually isn't that good. Must have just been bored as shit and was just like, I want to beat this game or something. Like, it's not a bad game, but like, you look back at like Donkey Kong Country and you're like, yeah, those are way better games.
I have to play those more.
Yeah, like those are way better games. But again, I didn't even got to play the Donkey Kong Country games because, again, like, I didn't have a Super Nintendo. So like, I won't say that was my first, because I played Donkey Kong and NES, but like, that was like my holy shit game. And also that required the expansion pack, so it looked better.
Right.
Whatever. But yeah, I mean, you still played some good games though. So it's not like it's not like you like got Turok 1 and that's all you got. You know what I mean?
Right. I got Star Fox 64. I got Mario Party. And I got what was the other game I had? I just had it in my head, and it was like a well-known game, but I just forgot. But yeah, I had a good amount.
So did you ever, I'm assuming, obviously you're an only child, so you didn't have brothers and sisters, but did you have a lot of friends like playing games with you, especially when 64 came out? Because that was such a big console with like multiplayer, especially obviously local multiplayer. There's no online, but like that was like, I also felt like Nintendo, I'm not going to say forced every game to have 4-player, but I'm almost positive that was like top of their checklist. Like every game they were like must have 4-player. Like, like did you have friends in the neighborhood that would come over and hang out and do all that?
Yeah, for sure. I had very close friends, birthday parties, sleepovers, and we would play, Super Smash Brothers. We would play Star Fox, Mario Party. Those were really good bonding moments with my friends. Was actually starting with the N64, and then from there, I played a lot with my friends growing up, with the PC, and then with the GameCube as well. And eventually 360 until probably now with almost everything. They're mainly on PC now.
Yeah, I think, like I said, like I'm not gonna say SNES didn't have co-op games because obviously it did, but I also felt like a lot of games didn't emphasize it. You know what I mean? A lot of games were just like, they had a lot of single player games, so you were passing the controller back and forth. But then like
pretty much
when N64 happened, because even during that generation, like PlayStation didn't even really give a shit about 4 players because you had 2 ports on there. So like, but also PlayStation had like every fucking awesome RPG for the longest time. So I mean, that was kind of their thing. But like, 64 was like, of course, everybody had Gold. I never played GoldenEye, never played Perfect Dark.
I never played GoldenEye either, or Perfect Dark. I really missed a lot on N64. And it's just a few group of games, mainly played with my friends, and then that was pretty much that.
Did you ever coordinate with your friends on who was getting what? Like, did you ever have a friend like, oh, your birthday's coming up, you should try to get this so we can play? Or then, like, because me and my friends did that hardcore, like at Christmas time, because like again, all our parents weren't really well off, but so it was just like, yo, what game are you asking for? Oh, you're gonna ask for this? Okay, I'll ask for this. He'll ask for this. He'll ask for this. And then all of a sudden, like Christmas break, everybody got their shit, and we're like, all right, we're going to go over to Jared's house and play this game. All right, we're going to Gary's house to play this game. Like, that was how we did it, man. So, but also, too, like you said, like around, like I had PlayStation. So, I mean, even still, like I played 2-player games, but there were so many times when I didn't have that, like, 4-player bonding experience. You know what I mean? Like, most of the games that me and my friends played, we actually ended up taking turns on. So it was like, Resident Evil 2, 1, 2, 3, Metal Gear, Silent Hill, like all those games were the games that we were into, and we would just basically watch the other person do it. If someone got stuck, we'd help each other out, but then it was just more passing the controller around. So, besides the wrestling games, like that was the only game where like 2 people could really play. But yeah, like I never had that moment where 4 people sitting in front of a TV until, GameCube and Xbox and shit. That was when it was for me.
Yeah, I did have a PlayStation 1. Sorry, I forgot to mention that.
No, that's fine.
But I did have one. I was probably too young for all the games you just mentioned. I was probably way too young for that.
I was too. I was like, I mean, again, my parent, what was I? I was 14. Maybe no, I was like 12 or 13 when like a lot of those came out. So yeah, there was a lot of games I shouldn't have been playing. Thankfully, some of my friends were slightly older, so I got to play those things.
So you got to get So on PlayStation 1, I barely had any games. I forgot how I got it too. I don't think it was like through birthdays or Christmases. I think like my dad got it from a friend or something. It's like, hey, this is an extra console or whatever. And I was like, okay. And it's like, here are the games for it. And I'm like, okay. It was literally a demo disc.
That's all
that
that's all.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I needed. Yeah, I played like Spyro demo on there, and then a snowboarding game, and then I had I was obsessed with Power Rangers at the time, so I had a Power Rangers game
for PlayStation. I remember, dude.
Yeah, one. Yeah, Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue.
Oh my god, I completely had. So I loved Power Rangers when I was a kid, like, and I'm talking OG Power Rangers, like the
OG, yeah.
And I'm talking like I was The only thing that sucked is when you went for Halloween shopping and you were like, dude, I don't want to be Billy. Nobody wants to be the fucking Blue Ranger. Like, nobody wants to be Blue. Everybody wants to be Tommy or, Jason. Like, nobody wants to fucking be Billy. And that was the only one that was left. So, of course, I was like, God damn it, I guess I'm Billy. But I remember there, and I've said it before, but my mom got me the Power Rangers game for Genesis, and I was the fucking happiest kid in the world. And I'm sure she overpaid for it. I'm sure it was like hard as hell to find and all that stuff. Got it. Took my Genesis over to my grandma's house for Christmas. Opened it up, played it. It was one of those side scrolling beat 'em ups, beat it in a half hour. And my mom, I came out of the room and I was like, I beat the game. And the level of like pissed off on her face, like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, no. I'm like, I kind of already did it. And she's just like, wow. And she's just like, she didn't say much the rest of the night. She's just kind of like, because again, I'm sure she overpaid up her ass for that game. And I just kind of beat it real fast. And it was, I was like, I guess I can go play it more. Like, I can go play it again. But yeah, ever since then, I had a little like disdain for Power Rangers games after that. I was like, nah, fuck this. I'm not doing this again.
We're kind of done. Yeah, I think that was the only Power Rangers game I had. And then I also had, Crash Team Racing.
How pumped are you for the remake?
Oh, I am so pumped for the remake of that one. Crash Bandicoot, I had the first one. I didn't get really into it because I just 3D wasn't really in my like in my mind, picturing my mind with SNES. I was so used to Donkey Kong.
Right.
So this one I was like, it's okay, but I didn't like get into it or beat it or anything like that. But Crash Team Racing, I was obsessed, and I was like, I'm holding it till this day. It is still better than Mario 64, and I'm still holding on to it. I'm clinging on to it, and I want to prove everyone when the remake comes out is that Crash Team Racing is better than Super Mario Kart. Yeah. 64.
I was just thinking,
did I say Super Mario 64?
You did at first, and I was about to just be like, well, it was great knowing you. Have a great day. Like, no, but like, the thing with Mario Kart is like, there's good ones and there's not good ones. Like, it just depends. And some people love the shit out of 64. Again, I think I played Double Dash, and that one was fun. And like, obviously, Fran Mirabella fucking hated it because he reviewed it like a 7. But the fuck, it's Mario Kart. What's wrong with you? No, but like Crash Team Racing, it's funny because like I had a PlayStation. I remember, and this sounds really sketchy, but like one of my friends had Crash 3, and I remember playing it, and I was like, I did play demos for 1 and 2, but I never fully played them. And with 3, I was like, wow, this game is really fun. And my friend was just like, you can have it. And I was like, what do you mean have it? He's like, you can have it. Now I don't know if he acquired it by other means of like stealing it from somebody else or something. Yeah, but he straight was just like, shady. You can have it. And of course I'm a dumb kid and I'm just like, all right. So I took it home and I 105%ed the shit out of that game. Like I beat everything about that game. I literally, there is a way to get like 105% in the game. Like it's weird how it actually says 105% or something, but I beat the shit out of that game. Never played Crash Team Racing. Just for whatever reason, just never, like, I don't know if I was just getting out of video, like what, I just never played it. And then all of a sudden, Tim Geddes brings up, where's the remake of Crash Team Racing? And then they show it off at the Game Awards and he loses. And
then he just lost
it. And I was so happy to see him so happy for it too. I was like, good for you guys. But yeah, I mean, now what you just said, I'm like, man, he probably got so stoked.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I saw it. I was like, my heart just like skipped. It was just like, oh my gosh, they're remaking the better racing game. But,
the better, like that's your standard.
I was like, I have to say
that'll be on your tombstone. It's like, here lies Garrett. Crash Team Racing has always been a better game. That'll just be on you'll be like that to the day you die, man. You're good. Like I personally, I didn't even like Mario Kart on the Super Nintendo. Like I didn't think it was the original Super Nintendo.
I never had.
It was okay, but I was like, this is fine. But then like.
It was hard, right? Because the 2D rendering.
It's a little weird how they did it. Again, it was cool though. Like, all these people were gone. But then like, honestly, I think it was when the one I lost it for was actually Mario Kart DS. Because like Mario Kart DS was really fucking good.
I had it too.
Yeah,
it was really
Mario
good.
Kart DS was really good. And then obviously the one Mario 8 Deluxe is fucking phenomenal. Like, it's a really good game.
Yeah.
Actually, we kind of skipped over part of it. Obviously, you mentioned Pokemon, so you had a handheld, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Question, was it just your Pokemon machine?
It was just my Pokemon machine. I have to admit it.
Me too. I didn't have anything else. Like, my buddy had Zelda and I played it. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Give me fucking Pokemon Blue and everything else. So.
my first personal console was a Game Boy Color. And I was, again, like 5 or 6 years old at the time. And my dad's like, here you go. Here's the yellow version. And then that Pokemon took away the rest of my life for the next, whatever years.
Dude, it shuts kids up so well. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good. You want to keep a kid quiet. Here's Pokemon. Have fun.
Yeah, pretty much. I was obsessed. I got yellow and I was like, this is so good. I got to get blue and red. I got blue and red. I beat those. And then I played every single generation since then. And then by far my favorite Pokemon game is Pokemon the 3rd gen. Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And then I loved Emerald a lot. That was probably my favorite Pokemon game. And then from there, it's like kind of downhill for me, but I still played them.
Well, here's this crazy because like my son, like I started, I got Blue and played the shit out of Blue, and Blue's amazing. And then Gold and Silver were really fucking good too. And then Ruby, I remember just getting a Game Boy Advance. I bought my buddy, one of his little brothers had the old school Game Boy Advance before the SP, which...
Oh, yeah, I had those too.
And he got the SP, and he's like, I don't need this, and I bought it off of him, and the only game I cared about was like, where's Pokemon? I there were other good games on the Advance and shit, but I was just like, I don't care. I'm like, where's Pokemon? Played Ruby, played Sapphire, and they were all just, it was just so much fun. And then they did the remakes of Red and well, they did Red
Fire
and
Red and Leaf Green.
Right, yeah. Which again, it blew my mind that green wasn't even an option. I was like, what the fuck is green? And I'm like, oh wait, green was in Japan? That's crazy. It's just so, it's funny because like now, I remember, I think I played all the way up until Black and White.
Oh, yeah.
I think I played Black and White.
Okay.
And I remember that was like where it got, not weird, but like, all of a sudden online was like a thing. And it, like, you could buy a fucking headset for your DS to play and talk to people. I was like, this is nuts. Like, this is where it's starting to get crazy. But then after that is when they just went... like, you can customize your Pokemon and fucking have them in pageants and shit. I'm like, I don't care about any of this shit. Like, I just want to play a Pokemon game. Like, I don't want to do all this extra shit. And my son, like, he fully went nuts with it. He had that same level I did where he got X. And I was like, I need Y. I'm like, I just need all of these. And then he plays all of them. And I mean, now he's kind of, I'm not going to say out of it, but like, Let's Go, he didn't give a shit about. He was just like, he was just like, no. But if I showed him like the one that's coming out supposedly this year.
Yeah, the true next Pokemon game. Yeah.
I bet you he'll stop everything and fucking play that. Like, I bet you, he will just stop. And thankfully, for Christmas, we got a second Switch in the house. Thank God, because I don't want to hear the fights.
Now he can play.
Yeah, he has his own. We tell him it's not his because I can't just give you a Switch when you didn't really earn it and shit. So it's the family. We have 2 family Switches, but also there are 2 kids old enough that are basically 10 and 13. So essentially, they kind of got their own.
They're just getting their own.
I only got
now.
the second Switch because I noticed this Christmas every single game they wanted were Switch games, and I was like, "Fuck, that's gonna be a really bad Christmas if we have one Switch." And I'm like, I don't want to hear this.
Get all Switch games. Yeah.
So then, and we're taking a big trip in June for like 2 weeks, and I was just like, "Fuck it, getting a second one." You guys won't fight over it now. And Christmas was way quieter and way less stressful. They were just like, one kid got Smash, one kid got Mario Tennis. By the way, both excellent games. God damn, is Mario Tennis fun. God, that game is fun.
I had Mario Tennis on N64 as well, and I really enjoyed that. I played a little bit of the Switch one. I liked it too. I get it. I was like, okay, I get it.
Right.
I'm not probably gonna play more of this, but I appreciate it. I enjoy it.
As a family game, all four of us playing, it's fucking amazing.
Oh,
like,
I bet.
That's what and that's where at least Nintendo still has that magic of like 4-player on the same console. Like they still rock that shit. Mario Party for Switch, phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Like
okay, good. Right.
And most of the Mario Party games, like for the Wii, were not, and Wii U were not good, but this one is really good. Only dumb thing, Nintendo forces you to play with Joy-Cons.
Oh, really?
No Pro Controller. Yeah, they like each person gets a sideways Joy-Con, which initially you're like, this is bullshit, but most of the games are so basic.
It's a fun mini game.
Yeah, they're like real basic games, so it's not that big of a deal. But no, like the whole 4-player thing, Nintendo at least is still sticking with. Pokemon was very influential of making people play with each other,
connecting and trading.
Yeah. Did you go full nuts Pokemon where you went like card game, bed sheets, that kind of shit?
I was into a little bit of the cards. I didn't understand the card game, so I never really
They're
played
pretty. This one's Charizard.
Yeah,
yay.
that's pretty much. I got much better at that, like with card games. I'm pretty obsessed with some card games now. But back then with Pokemon, I was like, no, I think I'm good.
Right.
But I had Pokemon Pinball. On the Game Boy Advance, I had Pokemon Ranger on the DS. So yeah,
that's like the one I definitely like missed on. I was more into the core ones because they had like Mystery Dungeon or whatever it was. I didn't like
Mystery Dungeon. I wasn't into.
Yeah, that was a little weird. I did play Puzzle League. Stadium was glorified like battles with your characters. By the way, if you had Stadium and didn't have a transfer pack, fucking shame on you, because that game is not nearly as fun unless you brought your own shit. Like. You bringing your Pokemon to the game made that game infinitely better, and if you didn't have that,
I never knew about that. So this is the type of stuff I wish I knew when I was a kid.
Bro,
that was it a transfer pack from a Game Boy to an N64.
So basically,
right?
it plugged into the back of the 64 controller and it allowed you to plug your game into it. So you basically could bring your characters from the game, from like blue and yellow and all those, into Pokemon Stadium and watch them fight in 3D.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
Oh my god, I just blew your mind. But with the transfer pack, like when I rented it from Blockbuster, like they fucking provided it. They were just like, here's like a pack of like shit you need to play this game right. And I was like, thank God, because like I like when you play with like people that are in the game, it's fun. But when you have your own people, you're like, no, this is my Charizard, this is my Blast. Like fighting them in 3D. Right. That was where it was cool. And again,
now can you transfer back?
Yeah,
or is
it just basically it just read them. So like it wasn't like I don't remember you gaining XP or anything. Like it was literally just like reading.
Here's your Charizard.
Yeah, here's your Charizard. Here's your Pikachu or whatever. Like it just had your shit that you were fighting against other people. So that's all it was. But like. It worked 2-player. Like, people could have more than one, and it was fucking cool, dude. But yeah, like, I remember, and I think, I'm not kidding when I say maybe like 2 games or 3 games ever worked with it. Like, not a lot worked with it. Like, I'm reading right now, and it says on here, like, Mario Golf for Game Boy Color, like, apparently you transfer shit into Mario Golf for 64.
That's weird.
It is weird. I just remember Stadium 1 and 2, and that's it. I don't remember.
That's your Pokemon transfer.
Yeah, exactly. This is for Pokemon. We just do this shit for Pokemon. Yeah. So just like my Game Boy, I literally didn't own any other games besides Pokemon. I didn't have
that. Me too. Like I think I had a Rayman game on Pokemon or Game Boy Color.
When DS happened, that's when I was like, holy shit, there's actually a lot of really good games on DS, so that's when I went nuts.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
DS like dude, DS was so good. And 3DS is
it was really, really good.
3DS is okay. It's not
I appreciate 3DS a lot. I have a 3DS. I still play it to this day because there's some great JRPGs on there.
No, like, that's the one thing. It's like I always thought that was cool because like Game Boy Advance had like basically your Super Nintendo games portable. Like they were able to take like that 16-bit era, make it awesome and make it portable, and then DS just made it even better. Like, there was a lot of good games. And of course, people can argue the 3DS is perfect because it plays all DS games. Sure. You could also say the DS is perfect because it plays GBA games and the original DS games, which are that's a fucking ridiculous catalog. So
with the DS and DS Lite, I remember having a DS Lite. I think I still have it actually. And I actually got Game Boy Color again too. It's just some nostalgia trips going on there.
I had the original DS, which was a fucking turd. That thing sucked.
My God, it was like man, wasn't it?
I had one. I bought it I worked at a video game store when it came out, so I bought it day one, and then for Christmas, I think the following year, there was like a Mario Kart Special Edition that was like red, and I bought that one, so I gave the other one to my wife, and then like Nintendo completely came out with the DS Lite that was far fucking better in every single way, and I was just like,
it's small, compact,
brighter screen, bigger screens. I was like, shit, this thing is way better.
Did the regular DS was it able to read Game Boy games? Mm-hmm. That's what I remember. That's what I liked about the original DS is that it did all three.
Well, DS Lite did. DSi is where they got rid of that port. They got rid of the old GBA port because they had the DS Lite, which had like full on, like it had everything. It worked with everything. But then is when DSi came out with like the camera, that's when they got rid of the old GBA port and shit like that. So, okay. No, like DS was phenomenal, but that original DS is hot trash. It's really bad. The Lite was so much better.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, but as far as it goes, like obviously your handheld was kind of just Pokemon machines. You had 64 PlayStation. And then it sounds like you said you went GameCube. Did you ever? Yep. And obviously, I mean, if you went 64, most people went GameCube because I mean, Smash was a launch game. By the way, never played 64 Smash. I started with Melee.
That's great.
And Melee's
like Melee is my favorite Smash game. Yeah. Till this day. So
Ultimate,
Ultimate's up there. I commend them on a lot of the fight. It's just for me, like, I still watch competitive Smash, and I go to Melee community because they understand mechanics. Right. They understand the physics. I mean, like, I'm not saying that the other games don't have the same. It's just it was like
a special time before they went so nuts adding 50 more characters. And then there was still like, it's just less, it sounds bad, but like less is more. Like there's just less going on, so it made it better. Like I remember Melee being ridiculous, but then like the Wii Smash Brothers was fucking bad.
I had so Super Smash Brothers Brawl, that was hot. It was pretty bad. I think Base Embassy was not good to me. And then I actually got, I don't know if you ever heard of, it was a mod. I got a mod on that game. I forgot what it was called. Project M.
Right.
And basically what it did is we're going to force Melee physics into Brawl and then kind of restructure the character's moves a little bit to make it more Melee-like, and that just instantly felt better.
It was immediately better. And then the Wii U one wasn't terrible. The 3DS one was not very fun just because it was smaller. And
I played the 3DS one. I never had a Wii U, so
it wasn't. So the Wii U one wasn't bad. It felt fine. I had both. The 3DS one was fine as well, but the problem was like it was just the smaller.
It's too small.
It's just too small. Yeah, like you just I kind of like a bigger controller, but it worked well. Like it played well.
It worked pretty good.
Yeah,
which I was surprised.
I liked the art style of it. I thought it was cool. Like I didn't think it was bad. So, but dude, Ultimate is like. Jesus, you guys actually did go insane and put every fucking thing. And then you added more. And you're still going to add
more. You added so much more character. And I beat World of Light just like last week. And I was like, good Lord, those endings, the campaign. Like, it was a little bit long on the tooth, but I still really enjoyed it compared to the previous campaigns.
Do you unlock every character doing World of Light?
Yeah, you do.
Okay, cool. Because that's what I'm doing now.
Well, okay. So there's two. You unlock characters within World of Light. Right. That doesn't mean you're unlocking characters in the game. So what you have to do is that as you're playing World of Light, after about maybe 5 to 10 minutes, you back out. You save, back out, and if you back out World of Light, there's always a random character waiting to challenge you.
Oh, okay. See, I didn't.
And that's how I got all my characters in.
The only thing I heard, and this is why I try to stay away, people bitch on the internet a lot. Mm-hmm. Shocker.
Yeah, I know.
But people were bitching about how to unlock people in Smash, and I just kind of got to a point where, like, I don't play games as often as I wish I could. Obviously, right. 3 kids, family mortgage, that kind of shit. But I just basically play World of Light like ever so often. I'll just pick it up and go, I'll just fuck around and play some of this and stuff. And as I unlock characters, like it's cool. But I'm not one of those that's like so pissed off. Like, people were like fucking furious that like nothing was unlocked. I'm like, do we not remember Melee when this was the same fucking... Remember Melee when you had to play like
Melee was hard.
500 matches to get to this character? Like, does people not remember this shit? Like,
I had the manual too. I had the Super Smash Brothers Melee manual, and it told me how to get the characters. Right. And I remember Luigi. The Luigi, I was like, what you have to do in adventure mode is on the second stage, you have to finish at a certain... with one of the numbers being 7.
Yep.
It's like something weird.
Right.
Shit like that, and I'm like,
you're supposed to know that without like
just like looking it up, or
I guess
I don't know. I was like, okay, let's do this, and sure enough, Luigi popped up. Right. I was like, oh my God.
Dude, the only thing I'll say is my son was so bummed because Waluigi is one of his favorite characters, and he's like, he's like, Dad, Waluigi's not in Smash Ultimate. I'm like, I know, it's like a big thing. People are pissed on the internet about it. Like, he's like,
so many memes.
Yeah, every time we load up Mario Tennis, Mario Party, he's like, boom, Waluigi, let's go. And he's like, Dad, he's not in Smash Ultimate. I'm like, maybe he'll be a download character or something. Maybe they'll do, I don't know what to say.
I don't think so, because they're gonna make they're gonna do all outside of Nintendo third party DLC characters. And then we have Piranha Plant, which I don't get. I was like, when I was watching them, I'm like, no, I don't.
Who said that was
I don't want to. Give me like Waluigi would be cool. Yeah. Like I would see an interesting moveset with tennis. Yeah. Like it started with tennis, so I would be so down to see Waluigi.
Yeah, I wonder what. I mean, the thing is, like I hope Nintendo reads the internet. Because, like, they should fucking read it once in a while. Because, like, people are... If they said, here's all the Smash characters, by the way, one last character, and Waluigi showed up, the internet would lose its goddamn mind. Everybody would buy them. Like, just do it. And also, too, literally, Ultimate is the perfect game to just... I'm not going to say treat like Rock Band with, like, weekly DLC, but, like, every couple months, if you were just like, here's 2 more characters. Here's 2 more characters. Here's 2 more characters. And people... And, you know... $5, $10, whatever for 2. Like, people would fucking do it because like that game is to the point where it's literally everybody, and you can just keep adding shit to it. Like, just treat it like that, and Nintendo could just continue to make money left and right. So, but again, Nintendo, I don't know, maybe they don't like money. I don't know.
No, I don't know either.
We'll figure it out. So as you were playing, you had GameCube. Did you ever mess with PS2, Xbox, anything like that?
You know, it was a weird thing. I never had a PS2, and I know people say that's one of like the biggest and best consoles of all time, and that's their childhood dreams. But no, I did not have a PS2. My friend did have a PS2. I played a little bit with him, but he mainly hogged the controller. He was a selfish person. So he hogged the controller for most games, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I don't really care for a PS2. And then I had probably one of my best gaming memories, probably getting my Xbox 360. I was asked, I was asking for Christmas was not a 360, but some an Xbox original like console. I was like, okay, I know it was 2005, so that's when the 360 was coming out.
Right, so it was like the hottest item at the time, and like shit to get and all that, right?
Yeah, I know I wasn't going to get the 360, but I could ask for the Xbox for Christmas. And then I wanted that. It was like the Crash Team Racing on the Xbox. I forgot what it was called, but it was some bullshit.
I think it was Crash Nitro Kart. Yeah, Crash Nitro Kart Xbox.
Anyways, I asked for that and all that crap. And then my dad woke me up it was probably during winter break. I remember it was like maybe it was like 3 a.m. I was like, Garrett, we're gonna go to this Best Buy. They said they're shipping some Xbox 360s over there. We're gonna wait in line. And we drove over there, sure enough, and we waited in line since like 4 a.m. There was only like 3 people ahead of us.
Oh my God.
That, of course, they were older guys. And then like some other people came, and then at 8 in the morning we got vouchers and we were number 4. And I was like, oh my gosh, we're getting a 360.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah. And so that was probably my best morning or the best day for gaming is getting that Xbox 360. I think the first few games I got, it was Quake.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Quake was a launch game.
Yeah. I didn't care for it as much. It was super gory.
Yeah.
I remember that for sure.
The 360 launch wasn't. I remember like I worked
great.
it. Like I worked at a video game store when it came out. Like,
yeah.
I remember Condemned was a really big one, which that was really fucking graphic and violent and really scary and creepy. But otherwise, like Perfect Dark, Madden, which Madden for 360, that first one is really bad. Like it's a really bad game.
Yeah.
I remember like. I don't say like people didn't give a shit about 360, but like I think it was like people really gave a shit because people lost their minds and bought it every time and it, whatever. But then it was like Oblivion and Fight Night. When those two came out, like Fight Night Round 3, I remember putting in the demo disc at the store I worked at, and that was like Microsoft literally replaced the TV that we had with a high def TV for the demo unit. And I remember looking at Fight Night Round 3 and fucking freaking out. I was like, these graphics are crazy.
So good. Yeah.
Like when you punch a dude and it goes slow-mo and you see sweat flying and his face just fucking twist as you get knocked. I'm like, this is insane. Like as soon as that happened, and I was like, anybody who walked in, I was like, go play Fight Night right now. And everybody was just like, I need this in my life. Like everybody freaked out as soon as they played Fight Night. But then Oblivion happened, and yeah, that was the other one too. Everybody who I think everybody I remember selling a 360 to at that store came back when Oblivion came out and was like, give me this right now. Like they were so.
Oh wow, yeah. I started actually with Elder Scrolls. I started with Skyrim. That was my first. Did. Yeah, like, and then I noticed, there is an Oblivion. I never heard of this, and of course, there's previous Elder Scrolls games,
right.
I tried to get into Oblivion after Skyrim. I just couldn't. It was like it was a formatting. It was the way it feels. It was clunky. I'm like, this as a game, it's not really aging well for me. I'd rather just go back to Skyrim, and I have Skyrim on the Switch. I got everything.
Dude, they put Skyrim on everything, and it always my favorite thing in the world is why am I drawing a blank? The guy who runs Bethesda's PR. I can't remember. Anyways, my favorite response for him, it might have been Todd Howard that said it too. He literally went, if you guys don't want us putting Skyrim on everything, quit fucking buying it. Like they literally,
that was Todd Howard.
That was Todd Howard. Yeah, he's like, quit fucking buying the game if you don't want us to put it on everything, because literally they'll put it on everything. Well, dude, I get it. Like it costs you. Like, dude, how many copies did they sell on 360 and PS3 alone? And then they're like, cool, here's PC. Okay, cool, here's Game of the Year edition with all this shit. Okay, cool. Oh wait, the new consoles are out. Oh, let's put it on there too. Oh wait, Switch is out. All right, put it on that. Like they're going to keep putting the shit out if you keep buying it, because that's good business. Copies. Yeah, see, there you go.
I bought 3 copies, and I got PC shared with other friends, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is I need to stop.
Right. And I just love, I love that quote. If you don't want us to put it out, quit fucking buying it. I was like, that's the most honest answer you could ever say. Because like, as a business dude, you're like, what do you want us to do?
We're making money.
Yeah, you're literally paying us every time this game comes out.
Nothing. Like literally, like they did the game. We just have to maybe pour and contract to another company, and it's like we're just making a ton of money now.
My favorite thing is like I have people who bought a Switch because Skyrim became portable, and they were like, "This is it, dude. This is my life. I need to have this everywhere I go." I'm like, "This fucking game is 10 years old, people. Like, just you've played it already. Like, just stop. Like, there's another shit that's out. Please play other things."
Right.
But no, I mean, dude, and obviously 360 is when online exploded, and
yes,
I mean,
I played Call of Duty. So Call of Duty 2 was my first. Call of Duty game. I was obsessed with playing with my friends, and then of course 3 was another big one, and then of course Modern Warfare was like
4 is when shit just went crazy, and like my favorite thing was the only way I started playing 4 was I worked at Best Buy at the time.
Yeah.
And I literally just fucking started there. Like I started there, and Call of Duty 4 was like the big game at the time. And I had a 360, but I was like, didn't have really many friends to play with and shit. And I started working at Best Buy, which is where I have like all my friends from now. And this guy won Modern Warfare 4 for like a contest that Best Buy had, but it was for 360. He had a PS3. And he literally was just like, hey, new guy, you got a 360? I'm like, yeah. He's like, here you go. And he just fucking gave me Modern Warfare 4. I'm like, what? And he goes, well, I won this. I can't return it. And I don't have a 360. So here you go. And like, I played the hell out of it, dude. I was like, this game is ridiculous. Back when it was good. I'm not going to say good. People like Black Ops 4, but still, like Modern Warfare 4, or Modern Warfare 1 was phenomenal. Like it just changed everything.
It was so, I mean, it was revolutionary, right? Like the way online multiplayer went. I remember playing so much online on Call of Duty.
Back when there was 3 kill streaks.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. 3, 5, 7.
3,000 different things. Yeah.
I know, right? And then, of course, I went down the line, and then Black Ops was a big one for me too. I think because of zombies.
Yeah.
Oh, and World at War, but yeah, the zombies really
made that game.
With my friends too.
Yeah.
Like it would be me, my friend Aaron, and his brother Sean. We all 3 of us, and then sometimes our other friend would join in, and we would just stay up nights, just trying to figure out Easter eggs, or just trying to get to that next round. Oh man,
my favorite thing is I love how they went Modern Warfare 4, and everybody was like, "This is what we need in our lives." Then the next Call of Duty was World at War, and everybody was like, "Why are you going back to old shit?" And then they were like, "We're sorry. Here's Modern Warfare 2. Like, they were just like,
that's true.
We're not fucking this up again. We're just going to go modern. And then they went to modern, and people were like, oh, tone that shit back. Go back to World War II, please.
Go back to World War II.
And now they're like,
it's always been mix and matching. Yeah. They're trying to atone to their audience. Well, I mean, it was a switch of devs too, right? It was
it's a smart way that they do it. Where they have like, now they had that third cycle in, which was making it better.
Oh, yeah.
Like at first it was just 2 companies every other year just pumping them out. But then, they had the third one, and I was like, you guys are doing good. But I have Black Ops 4 just because my son wanted it, and it was on sale for like dirt cheap on Black Friday. So I was like, sure. And I played like some Blackout, and I'm like,
it's okay.
It's all right. My son's played it more than I have, so I'm like, cool. As long as you play it, I don't care. I'm not a big... It's not like I'm like freaking out to play it, so I'm like, this is cool. Nothing. I mean, it's better than some of the other Call of Duties I've played in the past. So at least it's on the upswing and not the downswing. Because, dude, Call of Duty Ghosts, what the fuck? That game is trash.
I don't understand that game.
Dude, Ghosts was trash. Advanced Warfare was not as fun. I mean, Call of Duty in general is still probably some of the best shooting mechanics ever. Like, they have that shit down to a pack, but it just depends on how nuts you go with it. So, as far as it goes, obviously, so what are your gaming habits like today? Like, what is it that, like, do you have basically all of the above then?
Yeah, so, I think it really happened in I would say 2012 or 2013. I really started being more of a universal gamer, where I was like, okay, I like smaller indie titles now. I don't just like Call of Duty or just Pokemon. I like a lot of games, and I'm open to a lot of genres. So yeah, for sure. I got my PS4, I got my Xbox One X, and then I got my Switch, and I got my PC. And so I rotate a lot. The X was my most recent one, and the only reason I got that is because I had an S for a little bit. And then GameStop had a deal where, like, okay,
if you trade, that was the best deal in the world.
It's stacked too. Yeah. There was like 2 deals that stacked together, and I got Xbox One X plus Red Dead Redemption 2 for $210.
It's like the great
when I turned it in.
It's insane. Yeah. I remember anybody who I knew who had an Xbox and didn't have an X. I remember fucking sharing that link all day long. I was like, you fucking people, get rid of that thing and go get an X now. And even my buddies who didn't have a 4K TV at the time, like my buddy Brandon, I was like, dude, he's like, is the X? I'm like, shut your fucking mouth and go get an X. Like, just figure out what you need to get rid of to go get an X, like now. And he got it. He brought it home, and he's like, dude, like, Fortnite runs so much better on. I'm like, yeah, no shit. Like, everything fucking runs better on an X. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. And then he got his 4K TV, and he's just like, dude, my eyes are open.
It's
like, I can't
crazy.
fucking believe.
It's so
He's like,
crazy.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey looks stupid good. I'm like, yeah, it does. It looks real fucking good.
It does.
Red Dead Redemption in 4K is like, what am I looking at?
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
Oh my gosh! Every time I open up, and I'm like, oh, I just want to like live inside
It's
this
such a
game
good
for
game.
like hours on end.
But now, like,
So-
I'm with you though, because like, I feel like if you don't have everything, you're going to be missing out. Because, like PlayStation, my favorite game of 2017 was Horizon. I love my Xbox. I
Horizon's so
primarily
good. I wish yeah.
and that was my favorite game.
Yeah. Right now, like I feel like I'm hitting an overload. I get quite a bit of games, not as much now, but like I had a certain point in my life, maybe 2 years ago. I'm like, this is too much. I need to like focus. So what I do now is like, okay, I'm picking a game for Xbox. I'm picking a game for Switch. I'm picking a game for PS4. I'm not looking at anything else right now.
Right.
I'm just playing those. So that's what I kind of do right now. PC, I like playing with my friends, and it was a really just nice personal project for me after graduation just to build this thing. And so I play a lot with friends, and then if I want something stupid gorgeous and run really well, I just get on PC.
Right. Yeah, I feel like with me as like a adult with a job and like just not much time, I've gotten to the point where like I will choose certain games and just basically be like, I don't give a fuck what else is coming out. Like, that's my game.
Exactly.
And like, it's so hard to, especially when you buy everything day one. Number one, you're buying shit you may not play. Number two, if you waited 6 months, you might be able to get the game on sale. Number three, if you wait a year, you might be able to get a Game of the Year edition for cheaper than the original game price. Like, I just gotten to the point where, example,
I just rather.
Yeah, like for example, I got Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I didn't get Spider-Man right away, which I wanted to so badly, but I already had Tomb Raider, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to play both of you guys fine.
Yeah.
Beat Tomb Raider, got Assassin's Creed, and then I was like, why did I do that? Because Red Dead's in 2 weeks. Like, what the fuck is wrong with me? Like, what am I doing right now? Played 20 minutes of Odyssey. That's all I was able to play in the 2 weeks before Red Dead came out. Red Dead came out, played an hour of it. And, like, I just been so busy with all the shit, and now I'm like, all right, cool. I have Odyssey. I have Red Dead. I have like games I can definitely play, and of course Fortnite just keeps being awesome, and I keep playing that. But it's like that's why I usually have a forever game is what I say, like just a game that I'll play multiplayer all the fucking time. It was Grand Theft Auto Online for a while, now it's Fortnite. But like for example, I'm a gigantic Kingdom Hearts fan. I cannot believe
I just started the first one.
I cannot believe 3 is a real thing. It is real.
Reviews are out right now?
What's that?
Reviews are out right now?
Reviews are out right now. I saw a copy. I saw it, and I'm like, I cannot fucking. Dude, I've been waiting 13 years for this game. Like, I'm fucking.
Every Kingdom Hearts fan is saying that. Like, my friends are like, I'm waiting.
When that game comes out, literally everything else will stop. But like, for example, Resident Evil 2 remake. I played the demo. It's fantastic. It's so good. I'm not going to buy it. Not because it's not a good game, because like I have Red Dead and Assassin's Creed and that. And by the way, Game Pass, Crackdown 3 comes out in February.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't realize that. I got Game Pass and I'm like, oh my God, I just like put a lot more games on my plate, you know?
So I'm just like,
but it's such a good deal. It was like $70 for a year. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do
it was on sale during the summertime. Amazon had some deal, I think, like buy 6 months, get 6 months free or something like that. I bought 2 years of it up front. I was like, I know, because I'm such a big Xbox fan, I know I'm going to play every Xbox Studio game, Gears, Forza, Halo, Crackdown. I'm like,
whatever,
just beat it all now. I'm good for 2 years, so that worked.
Yeah.
There you go. If people wanted to check you out on the internet and possibly play games with you or check out any things you do, where would they go?
You can follow me on Twitter. I post a lot of gaming stuff. I also post like I'm a science geek and nerd. I'm a PhD student. So if you're into that, you can follow me at my last name Bland, BLAND 725. And then you can also I also kind of stream right now. It's kind of not much, but I do stream Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8:30 to 10 Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Bland Explosion. No, all lowercase, no spaces. So that's where you can find me. mainly.
And of course, if people want to check him out, I'll have links in the show notes for all the above, so you can go ahead and click and go watch him play. Apparently, Kingdom Hearts right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to play Kingdom Hearts 1. I just got to probably the first major world I have to beat is the Wonderland one, and I'm like, okay, it's good so far. Like, of course, gameplay is not going to be the
I was going to say, that
best,
camera in Kingdom Hearts 1 is really fucking bad. Like, I love Kingdom Hearts 1, but if you go back and play it, it's like, oh, it's...
But the storytelling, I'm like, I'm into it right now. I think I should get hooked on this. This is what I'm liking.
It's good
so
stuff,
far,
yeah. And then
so.
2 is really fucking good. Like 2 is really good, and 3, like so far, every review said 3 was not trash.
Really good.
So yeah, like
not trash. Yeah.
That's the expectation I have for it. Not trash. That's good enough for me. So
yeah.
Well, dude,
there you go.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for sharing all your stories with me, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much to talking with me.
All right, and again, if you guys want to check him out on Twitter, you can go ahead and follow him on Twitter at Bland725. Of course, you could also check him out on Twitch, twitch.tv/BlandExplosion. And of course, I'll have links in the show notes for all of the above. So if you guys want to be on the show just like Garrett was, send me a tweet at MitchPower1116 on Twitter, or at the podcast Twitter page, which is at GUG Podcast on Twitter. We also have a YouTube channel. Just search up GUG Podcast. You can find us there. And a Facebook group. Again, Growing Up Gaming. Just search that up in Facebook and you'll be glad to see that and be a part of that group and hopefully get some more traction there, because I need that to be more active, but that's also on my doing. I need to continue to post and get some feedback from people there. So, of course, also I want to mention Happy Kingdom Hearts 3 Day. I still don't know if it ever came out or not. I'm recording this intro on Sunday, so unless the world stopped on Monday, congratulations, people. You have Kingdom Hearts 3. The world's a better place now. Thank you guys so much for listening to the show each and every week. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, share it with your buddies, rate us on iTunes or whatever platform you use, and I will catch you guys next week with another new episode. See ya.